Hey, just checking the live stream. Let me know how my sound is later on if you would. Thank you. All right, I'm going live on Facebook. Waiting for video, it says. I might sign in one of those, I think. It says waiting for video. You gonna type all that in?
Well, I'm trying to make sure it's the same because it's the same. It should pick up. APSFacebook.com to code for full read. Yep. And then 43 string key change.
Okay.
So
I'm going to copy that and I'm going to send it to you.
if you got
Text it to you.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You got iPhone, right? Yeah.
Yeah, either one. Got it. Come on, put the same side. Four, 3, 5, 5, 7, 6. Yep.
Yep.
All right, here it comes.
You sure it's coming?
It's coming.
Connected live video.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. All right, all right. Okay, here we go. There it is at the top. All right, I'm going to hit live, right? Right here, right? All right. And they can't hear except for the mics, right?
Yeah, on mine. Yes.
All right, live. Can't see it. It's so small. 1 minute. Just give me such a small view. I hope that's what they're saying, not that small.
No, it's live. I'm sure it's live. Let's see.
720p? Yeah, check it. Or I got 40 watchers. Mm-hmm. Should let me see it that good.
Yeah.
All right. It's got no battery for me.
Yeah.
I got a plug if you need it.
Should be.
I'm probably gonna take pictures and airdrop them to mine.
Sweet.
So I can on social media. Okay. It looks good. Just look at your phone this time. Look at your phone this time. You didn't look at your phone last time. Look over here. Look over here.
Look, everything was over. Look at it. Look over here. It's all over there.
All right, good. This is good. I can see it like that.
Count on seconds.
Hmm?
Counting on seconds.
7, I think. I believe 7.
Isn't that cool?
That's cool. 1080, 720.
And actually,
That's the difference.
I could have jumped this with 1080, but for Facebook, I jumped it to 720.
Right.
Just because 1080 on live stream starts to.
The new iPad doing the camera, or is that the old one?
That's new. Well, the old ones are doing the casting. The new one.
That's the new one.
And when I did that price check for the new one for the frame, it was like for the 10.2 centimeters.
Mm-hmm. It's not big enough.
Like both iPad.
But look at that hand.
Actual studio is actually plugged in. It's 50% right now. It's actually plugged in. So, might be able to see what's
All right. Test this. This one too. Can't hear you over there.
I said, is it on?
Yeah.
It's soon.
Yeah, you're on too.
Yeah, thanks.
There you go. Tired. You are too. If I don't move in 5 minutes, it's a good thing. Yeah. And it's gonna be the best one. Learn how to do all this stuff. See, I got monitors on monitors. I monitor it 3 different ways. What it looks like 3 different ways. We've got the sound hooked into the mic. It's gonna be a lot better. We've learned every time.
So next time.
In fact, you can hear it right now. Live on that YouTube. 2 negative 2 people watching. Yeah. 39, 42. This one's more today. Yeah, this is Facebook. It's on YouTube. Mm-hmm. He had some equipment I could use. I didn't have it. He's got an iPad equipment. I got Apple stuff. He's got iPad stuff. Still raining? It's exciting to me. After you left, me and Miss Kathy started, and class started teaching here together. And my class would be on one side, his class would be on the other, and we have our presentation up on the board, and he would do 2 or 3 slides, and I would do 2 or 3 slides, and then we get the same test. It was really cool. And then after he left, Raven got hired, and she did the same thing. 97. What he used to have. We're turning it up. So, you're here. You eat already? You eat already? Got ham and cheese. She did. I ain't had time to tell Dana to do it. She's coming.
How many are on?
64, 62 right now.
All right.
59 and 61.
I realize I can be anywhere in the room, so I don't know why I'm so far away from you.
Okay. You don't want to be so far away from me?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm so far. I'm just gonna give a general overview of where we are.
Is this it?
Yeah. Like, hold you there.
Wow, it's 5:30.
There's one there, bro.
Oh, your people are watching online.
Do you have a way of seeing what questions they're asking online?
Yes.
Do they actually ask questions?
Ashley was going to be my answer online. She was going to be texting a lot of everyone.
Yeah, there's
62, 64.
my film.
Yeah, that's right. This isn't.
Yeah, that's the audience.
We're live.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matthew Judy, and I serve as your superintendent for both county schools, and I feel very blessed and privileged to be able to do so. And when again, thank you for coming out tonight. I know it's very stormy outside, but it's great to see you here this evening, safe and secure, especially after the most recent hurricane. So I hope you and your families are well. Specifically, this is our third forum, and by now we know that both county schools will follow 4 weeks of remote instruction, specifically starting for students on August 17th. And we're hoping by that time we'll have a little bit more science and data looking specifically at where we are moving forward. So the Board of Education will have an opportunity to make decisions on what September 14th would look like, with the potential to return back into Plan B in terms of group days, group B, and with that Wednesday remote. So a few things we just want to update you on right now before we entertain any type of questions. As of this moment, we have approximately 4,800 families and students who have registered, helping us understand specifically whether under Plan B, whether you'd like your students to come back face to face, or whether you prefer to have remote instruction all year long, or for some considerable time. Well, that leaves about 1,500 of those 2,000 students we still need to hear from. So please encourage all of you, those in attendance, those also looking online at this. So please make sure that you fill out the online survey, work with schools directly, so we can make sure specifically that we understand what your intentions are, whether it be face-to-face instruction or remote instruction. Also allowing us to understand whether that would be transportation needs in the morning, transportation needs in the afternoon, what it also might look like for AM and PM lines. So we're going to answer some of your questions that you might have up online through Facebook right now, where Ashley, my apologies, where Ashley Pageant's going to help us. So if you have some questions, she might actually answer those for you in the chat, or she'll come to the help us answer those. So just let's talk about where we are right now. Looking at the most recent health report, and we try to send those out daily. They usually come through James Madison with the health department, through Chris Newkirk with emergency management services. Currently, our active cases have started to come down. So we hit that 150 mark a few days back, but we've trended back to 122 active cases, which is a good sign for us. And so clearly people are following some of those social distancing rules, and they're following some of the other health recommendations, so we're very excited about that. But moving forward, school has started for Beaufort County Schools. Early College High School is now in session. They started yesterday with remote learning. Today they started in person. So we're very excited that our students are starting to be engaged by their teachers. Our other employees actually return back on August 10th, which is this coming Monday. So we're very excited about our teachers returning, our TAs returning, our counselors, all of the personnel. And we're preparing for your students specifically to come on August 17th through remote learning. So what happens between now and then? Well, specifically, you should have heard from your school, and if you've not, I'm certain that they're going to be making calls out to you around specific dates and times for your open house. This is very important for you to attend open house with your student in order to gather that key information around what school is going to look like, sound like, feel like for your student, but also to gain some of the valuable resources and devices that you need moving forward. And so considering we're running a synchronous environment, meaning that a typical schedule that a student had in the past, last year, if school starts at 8, it goes till 3, we're still looking at that synchronous environment. So in fact, a student will still follow the schedule throughout the day. But remember, unlike in the springtime, school building itself is actually open during the day. Our employees are there. For last year, we had a really challenging time to reach out to some of our educators. I know there was a lot of dialogue in the evenings. I know our school phones weren't always answered, but that was a little bit more of being shut down by the governor on March 14th. But now we're in a position where you'll be able to reach out to our schools, you'll be able to reach out to our teachers in this time, you'll be able to call during the day, you'll be able to email during the day, and at certain times, as parents and families and community, may even be able to stop by the school, make appointments with our employees, so they can work with you directly around the concerns that you have for your students, with your students. But what does a typical day look like? Well, specifically for our students who will be on remote learning for at least the first 4 weeks, it's going to start early for you, meaning that our students are going to still follow that family schedule of getting up in the morning, having a good breakfast, being ready, being well done, and being on time for their classes. And there are some differences from this semester than what you had last semester. Last semester, when the governor closed the state for all of our children for school, specifically, we really tried to figure out the environment, and I know students were promoted forward based off of whatever their grades were on March 13th at that time. But now this is school, and school starts on the 17th for most other students, meaning that even though it's remote learning, it's true school. So this is just not an exercise in terms of time management, but it's a true exercise in terms of teaching and learning, meaning that there's an accountability model to making sure our students understand what they were taught that day, what skills we hope they acquire, what concepts we hope they learn, and specifically, they will be held accountable for that knowledge and those skill sets in terms of grades. So this is real school. And so for some of our students, that's going to be new for them. And they're going to have to overcome some of those boundaries and some of those barriers that they have, some of those fears, and we're going to really hopefully work those out. And again, the key piece for you as family members is to have incredible dialogue, open communication with your teachers, your principals, your APs, to really try to alleviate any type of concerns. Now, in a remote setting, as I said, it's synchronous, meaning that our students will hold true to that schedule. But as some of our parents in our community have written in questions, such as, do I expect a student to stare at a computer for 6 hours straight? That's really not the expectation. Our teachers are so dynamic that they're creating lessons, but they understand that there might be some independent work on the other side of the computer. That students will come in and do their bell ringers, their attendance will be taken. And in fact, there will be engagement between the teacher and the student. There may also be some online resources and online assignments that the teachers are given where the student can actually step back from the computer, actually work on it. He or she can do the work and communicate with the teacher effectively. So I really just want to caution people that this is not a moment of 6 straight hours standing in front of a computer, and the teachers have done an excellent job preparing for this. They'll do it more so next week. They've had training on remote learning and online learning, so that the dynamics and the flow of each class may look a little different based on the age group, based on the content, and really based off of the strength of the teacher in terms of how he or she wants to set up their curriculum and set up the flow of their class. So we're excited in terms of how our employees can really help our students. So some parents have written in and said to me, Mr. Cheeseman, I work all day long, and you do. And I've had a few parents say, so essentially, I'm going to have to sit down with my child for 4 or 5 hours at night. I must reteach some of these concepts. And honestly, I hope that's not the case. Meaning that we hope that our students are engaged with their teachers during the day. We hope our counselors are reaching out to you. We hope that there's great dialogue. And then you can sit down and review with your students each day what they learned. But I think it really comes back down to the question set of what you're asking your student. Please do not ask a student, just how is school. Start diving into the questions a little bit more about what they learned. Start diving into whether they had any challenges. Ask your students what worked, what did not work. Ask them if they had trouble with the technology, and if they did, reach out to our schools specifically so we can help eliminate some of those errors or barriers. But also ask your students if there was a moment where they felt really excited about their learning, if they felt really nervous about their learning. Ask them if they understood, and ask them to prove that they understood. Sit and read with your students. Go back through the assignments at night. 15 to 20 minutes a day, especially for young people. For a year, that's over 1 million words of learning. So it's really important when if in fact you believe that all else fails and the technology didn't work, don't let the day go by. Sit and read for 15 to 20 minutes. Contact your teacher, contact your administrator, contact us at the central office, and we'll do everything we can to troubleshoot it for you. But the key part is it's synchronous learning. So your student will be engaged 5 days a week, all 5. But it may look, as I said, a little differently from class to class in terms of time, in terms of the assignments. But please know, this is not part-time school. This is full-time school. But also know, this is hard, and we know it's going to be hard. And this is going to be the best opportunity for what we're trying to present to your students. Now, what happens after 4 weeks? Well, if the data shows us, and specifically the health department versus our Board of Education, and our Board of Education feels that there's a good opportunity to bring students back safely, then we'll do it. And the board has to vote on that. And so once the board makes that decision, if you come back face-to-face instruction, well, you're on plan B, and it's a hybrid. And that means that maybe your student comes to school Monday and Tuesday, another student comes to school Thursday and Friday, but for the other 3 days, they will in fact be remote. So make sure that your student understands that remote learning in the first 4 weeks is not a part-time opportunity. It's really what it's going to look like moving forward until the governor makes some decisions, until our health department makes decisions, and of course the Board of Education and myself make other decisions. But when students come back, as we said before, really what does it look like? It's a traditional day of school to the best of our ability, just not as many kids here, social distance, and yes, of course, you'll have to get up early. You have to get up earlier every day, meaning that in fact, there's that attestation form that you're going to need to fill out. You'll have to walk through the protocols with your students when they come back to school. You'll have to ask and answer the questions. And every student comes into the building with that form in their hands, and their temperatures will be checked. And unfortunately, if their temperature is greater than 100.4, you're likely going to get a call to come pick them up. That's the safety mechanism. What if your child gets on a school bus? Well, we've not changed our position, meaning that the original requirement or guidance is that your student be standing on the side of the road or wherever they are in terms of their bus stop, and specifically the temperature would be taken, and if it was greater than 100.4, well, then the child could get on the bus. Well, we have a little different philosophy. We do not want to leave any child on the side of the road unattended, in the dark or any given time. So all children get on the bus, 1 per seat, 24 on the bus, will have a mask on. If they happen to show up without the mask, the driver will give them a temporary mask, a disposable mask. They'll have to have the attestation form, but when we get to the school, when the bus stops, their temperature will be taken. If their temperature falls in line and they have the form, they'll give that to the person at the door, and then they get to go to school that day. If by chance the temperature rises, in fact, you left them at the bus stop, and they maybe had a 98-degree temperature, but now they're at school, they have 101, they'll be moved to an isolation room, and your family will be contacted to come work with your student directly. Everyone just needs to remember that whether a student or an adult has a fever, it doesn't mean they're COVID positive. All right, people's body temperatures change all the time. Tonight I was 97.8, it wasn't 98.6. So everybody's body temperature changes at times. But just remember that students really start to understand who's in school, who's not in school. Employees know who's in school, not in school. But always know that an absence does not mean someone's tested positive for COVID. However, as a family, what happens if someone inside the classroom does test positive for COVID? How would you know? Well, based on the laws, there's only certain information that we're allowed to share with you. However, we will let you know specifically that a student has tested positive in a particular room, so everyone understands what that looks like and what that's going to ultimately follow in terms of protocols. But considering we're not able to tell you which student. And so those are some of the questions I received through email. Basically, will we be announcing to you and informing you if people are COVID positive? The answer to that is yes. The health department will work with us specifically, make sure that you have knowledge of what that looks like. Also know, we're never going to use the word outbreak, and sometimes we'll use the word cluster based off the health department guidance. But we are going to track and follow the health department with Jim Madison and Cindy Edwards, our leaders, will help us, in fact, track where some of the issues may lie. But also know our schools are going to be cleaned, they'll be cleaned with great rigor. Our custodians, our maintenance team are being trained. We're going to do the best we can to keep our environments safe, secure, sanitary, because we want to have a great environment for children. But also know there's a lot of statistics out there. And as a scientist myself, I follow the science of it. But just know a lot of those statistics fall for children that you're hearing about. But so many of those children are taught by adults. And those adults inside our buildings range in age from, their early 20s all the way up to their late 60s, even into their 70s. And so the many safety procedures are also in place for our adults who happen to be our employees, maybe some of our community volunteers, maybe some of those who give us support and other services as vendors coming in the building. So there's a lot for us to look at in terms of safety. Which leads me to, during the regular school day, let's say school is now started, what about the mask? Well, Governor Cooper said K through 12 needs to wear the mask all the time. And that's not changed. And even more so, our students and our employees will need to wear masks. But there will be certain circumstances where they're not wearing it. For example, if students can go outside during PE and they have rigorous athletics, then they can take it off. And if those students are exercising, spread 6 feet apart, won't have to wear the mask. But when they come back, they will have to put it back on. A teacher who is 6 feet or greater away from their students, especially teaching reading, especially working with students, in terms of how I'm speaking to you now, will be able to take their mask off and engage students. Some of our teachers will wear a face shield, but when we come to school, all of our students, all of our adults, no matter their job title, no matter the age, no matter the grade, will have to engage the mask. So considering all of our employees will be given masks and face shields if they've not received them thus far, they'll get them next week at their schools. All of our drivers will have it. Every single employee will have it. But also, the state of North Carolina, through Governor Cooper's office, has made sure that all of our students will have at least 5 washable, reusable masks. So when you come to open house or you come to the first day of school, you'll actually receive those. And so that might look a little different at each school. So just kind of know what some of those systems and protocols are at your school. But specifically, we want to make sure that everyone is safe and healthy. And understand that there's a lot of protocols inside our buildings that you're not accustomed to. Meaning, one-way directional walking. You might see that in a few of our buildings. You might see increased hand washing, increased hand sanitizer use. You may see certain dynamics in classroom that are spread out where they may not have sat in the past, they'll sit now. You may see different dynamics of teachers engaging kids where they used to sit right together in front, but now they're going to be a little further away. So it's just a setup that is very new to all of us, and we're excited about the challenge because we love our kids, we love our employees, but there's going to be a lot of learning. And so it may seem as though plans consistently change. Well, that's true. And it's true because we consistently receive new guidance from the health department, from the state of North Carolina, from the governor's office. So as we learn, we try to share. As we learn, we try to train the personnel as to what it looks like, sounds like, feels like. But as of right now, school starts on August 17th. And so specifically, there's some things to consider. When your children do come back to school face to face, they'll be fed breakfast, they'll be fed lunch, unlikely in the cafeteria. They'll typically come right to the classroom to eat, spread out, social distancing, but we're still going to have school nutrition for our students. It's very important. Transportation, we'll be running buses, one person per seat, unless they're a family member. We're still operating our transportation. Now, to help us with that a little bit, I know many parents feel a little bit more encouraged to actually drop off their children and pick up their children. That will help us with transportation and busing issues. But if you can do that, that's wonderful. But also know many of our parents are switching over from transportation to actual car rider. So when that happens, the lines are a little bit longer in front of school. So make sure that if you have become a car rider family, you're going to have to get up a little bit earlier Get into those car lines because they're going to be a little bit longer. Remember, we're taking temperatures. And so please understand the value of patience and the value of tolerance, because not everybody is going to understand in the first few days of face-to-face learning what those traffic might look like coming down. But also, relationships are going to matter. As I've said before, make sure that you contact your schools, make sure that you contact your teachers directly, any of us, to raise any concerns. But right now, again, school starts on August 17th. Most recently, the Board of Education on Tuesday night voted to approve that UC adaptive students will be able to attend school up to 4 days a week, starting on the 17th. So that's a little bit of a change. Be mindful that doesn't mean all other students. And so that actually truly accounts for a very specific need of the population of students that we're trying to help work through. And so we're looking forward to working with them directly, but specifically, those are going to be some challenges inside of our schools that we're going to be learning protocols as we go. So we're looking forward to our employees coming back next week for some of that training. Most recently, athletics. If you're very interested in terms of athletics, or the High School Athletic Association just put out an announcement yesterday stating that September 1st guideline or timeline where they would make an announcement has now been pushed back even further, with Governor Cooper's most recent announcement of staying in phase 2 for the next 5 weeks. So what does that look like for Beaufort County Schools athletics? We don't know. Our Board of Education is very excited about extracurricular activities in high school athletics. We believe it leads to great, healthy lives for our students, but also challenges and being able to be problem solvers and sportsmanship. But right now, it's on hold. So as high school athletics is on hold, so is middle school athletics is on hold. So we'll provide more information, but if you follow the High School Athletics Association website, you'll see the announcements as we see the announcements. We don't get any special favors in that regard. We see it all at one time, at the same time you look at it. In terms of extracurricular activities, many of your students are in clubs. And some of the parents have written messages to me asking me about, well, besides just teaching environment, besides being face-to-face, or besides being remote, what about some of those, book clubs and beta clubs, and also our technology clubs and the art club and music club? Well, I've spoken to a few principals today talking about how can we still manage some of those things online? How can we keep kids engaged? So there may be some opportunities that are new where students may actually be engaged with school even just further than just the school bell. Know that you're really trying to maintain, typically what school would look like, just in a different fashion. So we put a microphone up front here to try to answer any of the questions. Ms. Pageant, I don't know if you have some questions coming online that we can answer. And you're welcome to come to the microphone. Specifically, one of the questions, Ms. Pageant, if you want to come here, same side by side to do this. One of the questions coming in right now is what happens if you don't have internet access? A few things. Our Board of Education was really thoughtful to get on this very fast back in May and June to acquire nearly $1 million worth of technology for our students to make sure that we had one-to-one devices K through 12. Even more so, most recently, the Board of Education approved a $297,000 acquisition to ensure that we were able to purchase 1,068 hotspots. Those were the specific hotspots that in the original surveys that went out, parents indicated that they would need those. This does not mean that you previously said you had internet access and now suddenly you like the idea of a hotspot. These are for the original survey that went out, and we identified 1,068 students across the county. So what happens if you don't have internet access? Well, in short, if you originally filled out the survey, we believe we may have a hotspot for you. However, there are certain circumstances right now where some of our community just doesn't have broadband access at all. So what are we looking for in that regard? Well, specifically, you're still going to get the technology because you can use that technology offline. Our teachers will be adaptive in terms of their assignments. We will be able to get them work specifically to work on at home, although they may not be able to go online, submit it, we're going to have to figure out other ways to do so. Your teachers will have protocols and processes in place for that. So our team behind the scenes is trying to work on that. Now, any individual who is really struggling with technology at their house, it's not working right, please contact your teacher and or your building administrator. Let's start working on that right from the beginning so our students don't fall behind, so we can try to problem solve together. Other questions? Gotcha. So open house, the question just came in about open house. So if you've not heard from your school yet, it is very likely your school does not have an appropriate phone number. So please, if you've not heard from your school about next week's open house, please reach out to your school. And I say that to you because, as you know, there's transitions across the district. I know that our counselors, our principals, our teachers have been calling their students. They've been calling you to announce when open house will be. At this point, if you've not received a phone call, I would encourage you to call the school directly, email the principal directly, or the counselors directly, and contact our central office, and we'll be able to share that information with you. But in short, I know that all of our schools have begun that calling process to make sure that you're aware when the open houses are, and understand that the traditional environment of the open house is going to look much different. Meaning, just like here tonight in your audience, your temperature will be taken, you'll have a mask on, you'll have 6 feet social distancing, there'll be less people around you. There may be appointment-based open houses, meaning that they've selected a specific time for you to come. So please make sure that you reach out to your schools if you've not heard from your school. In terms of packet work, meaning instead of online or specifically through a flash drive, we still have resources for students to use in that regard. I think our teachers are going to be very flexible with you in terms of the type of resource that they give to you. So I'm certain that you'll see some variances based off of the student need. All right, so there's no other questions online. For those of you in the audience who have questions, what would you like to know? What are your concerns? What do you hope for? What are you worried about? What fears do you have? You're welcome to come down and ask. If not, you're welcome to stop us in the hallway and ask us if we don't want to be live and do that. I understand. But at the end of the day, please know, all of Beaufort County schools want your children to succeed. And all of us who work with Beaufort County schools want all of you to be very safe, including your students and including our employees. And that's really going to be one of our greatest tasks. Yeah, so great question. What's the response time for teachers? Meaning, the question that just came in online was, last semester, a question may have gone to a teacher and the teacher didn't respond for almost 2 weeks is what they're alluding to. Well, our teachers and our employees, most will be in the building. Some of our employees will be working remotely, but most will be in the building. So I would anticipate 24, 48 hours response time as a typical school year should look like. I want to make sure that we have that open communication. Now, the other part of that too is making sure that you have the appropriate contact information, that you two are checking your emails, so when you send it and then you don't check it for 3 or 4 days, we need to make sure we're on that chain. The other part of that too is we really need to value each other's time. And for example, if you send an email at 8 o'clock at night, it's not my expectation that you would get a response at 8:30 at night. All right, it is my expectation that you would get a response within 24 hours to 48 hours. So back in the spring, and I've talked about this for about a month now, but I think it's really important to hear it again. Back in the spring, our employees were amazing. And even with the troubles that we had, my goodness, to do what we did in such a short amount in the matter of what we did, I just continue to applaud them. But the key part is, as a dad myself, of a child right here in the child community area who live right down the street from here, I watched our teachers who work with my child specifically work 14, 15, 16 hours a day. They try to accommodate everybody. And what I noticed as a dad myself is in their combination of all of our children, sometimes they lost in their own homes. And that's just never appropriate. So we're asking in that synchronous learning, in that environment from 7:30 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon, let's make sure that we're all connecting with each other. And so if you get a call in the morning, yeah, you should likely get a call in the afternoon coming back to you, or an email. Sure, let's do that. But we want to also protect your family time. And it's also really important to know that I'm looking at our employees saying it's important to protect your family time at night to live. But as families, I also want you to let our employees know if the work is just way too much. It's really hard sometimes to gauge the other side of the screen. Meaning, sometimes last spring, a parent would say to me, my child's done in 10 minutes. He doesn't have very much homework at night. Or that other parent, even in the same building, but not the same class, would say, my child has 2 hours of work even after they get off on the Zoom meeting. So, in short, a lot of our behaviors are going to have to help each other. So as families, as those who really work with children, always talk to your kids about the appropriateness of the work, the volume of the work. And if you're seeing your children have anxiety, have stress, and because of how it's impacting also your lives, your work schedules on remote setting, let's have dialogue with our educators on where the balance is. We don't want to shorten the work because our children need this knowledge. They need these skill sets. This is not abbreviated school. The state of North Carolina is still holding your children accountable to their measures. The state of North Carolina is still holding our teachers accountable to their measures. So it's all real, but we also want to make sure that there's a balance between school and living as a family. So please stay in good contact with your teachers about that. Sure, there's a great question here about why is football still having practice? And the reason I can say is they're allowed to. And what I mean by that is North Carolina High School Athletic Association creates the policies and the governance that then our Board of Education follows. And the North Carolina High School Athletic Association has said that school districts, public school systems can still host athletics in the summertime in terms of training and development, but not scrimmages, not games. So volleyball should not be playing games against each other. Football should not be playing games against each other. But in fact, conditioning absolutely is healthy for a student as long as they're still following health department guidelines around social distancing and proper sanitary conditions. But we're following the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. If I understand the question that just came in is, will parents be able to see the lessons, after hours of school that your students engaged in during the day? I think that's a great question. And the answer is yes. Our teachers are working through a system where with instructional delivery should be recorded. And that way your students and you can actually see that recording. That's really going to be helpful in times where technology fails, in times where your own work schedule may not allow your student to be present at the time of the actual instruction. And or if your child just looks at you and says, I don't get it, you may be able to go back and actually look at it yourself, spend some time with it, do your best problem solving, or at least be able to contact the teacher and say, here's the lesson that my child was uncertain on. But yes, you should be able to see most of what your student is saying, including the resources that your child has access to. I think that's a great question. Thank you. All right, so that's the last of the questions we have online. Anyone here have questions for us? If not, we can answer some of those as we depart. But ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate you being here tonight. We're super excited that school is starting. We're excited that we're all going to learn together, not just the content of what students learn, but really how all of this is going to work. I appreciate your patience, your tolerance. Continue to communicate some of your fears with us, and we try to really work on some of those protocols that might help us in that regard. And always feel free to be a problem solver with us. I love it when parents reach out to me specifically and say, Matthew, have you considered X, Y, or Z? Have you considered A, B, and C? And sometimes there are moments where I say, you know what, we haven't looked at it that way. Let's try to do that. So, we are a public school system. We work with you and on behalf of your students. And so with that, we always welcome you to be the problem solvers with us. So again, it's stormy outside. Please be really careful going home tonight. I applaud all of you for being here. Thank you for those of you online, and have a great evening. Thank you.
I stop here. I just put on my end, just gotta shut the screen down, but
Yeah, I've shut it down.
actually you gotta stop on yours, because I'm just looking at it from here.
You gotta